Hello and good morning to all of you wonderful people in Booth Platt House, and a good morning also to those interlopers from the other three houses who are also tuning into our assembly this morning. It's a little windy up here on the moor, so I hope you can hear me clearly. Welcome back after what feels like an eternity away from Hume. It really is lovely to see you all again. A new school year, of course, means a reset of the inter-house competition and, of course, a new push for the Needham Trophy. Mr. Chesterton has already reported to you the rankings from last year's competition. And though I enjoyed his musical interlude by Queen, it wasn't a particularly pleasing sentiment as the head of Booth Platt House. But in case you were absent or missed Mr. Chesterton's assembly on Tuesday, I will recap the rankings from last year's house competition, painful as they are. Languishing in fourth place were Lees. Third, with 7,865 points, was Booth Platt. Second place was Hume, and thus, miraculously, Asherton took the win. I begrudgingly send congratulations to Asherton and Mr. Chesterton. After all, I suppose they are entitled to a pity win once a century. But I have to say, I have relied upon Asherton over the last few years to bag that last place and thus boost Booth Platt up the league table. Still, at least we're not Lees. Nobody wants to be in Lee's position. So there is at least some consolation. To those of you in Booth Platt House, I send this message. We need to do much better this year and finally lift that Needham Trophy. It's been a long time. The Needham competition is of course going to look a little different this year as we all get used to this new and different way of working and interacting with one another. Our usual competitions will need to be rethought as there can be no inter-year bubble mixing. This year should be the year we stage our biannual Hume's Got Talent competition, but unfortunately at this stage it seems likely that competition will be postponed until next year. House activities will have to work within the bubbling system that is keeping us all safe. All of the heads of house are working together closely in order to ensure that the house competition continues throughout this coronavirus experience. And we are coming up with ideas for COVID-safe competitions and to give you as many opportunities to get involved as possible. Raising money for charities will remain a key part of the house system, and we are working with our charity coordinator, Mrs. Howarth, on ways to match and hopefully exceed last year's impressive sum of £700, which was donated to Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind, the mental health charity. Members of Booth Platt House can be pleased that it was our chosen house charity that has benefited, and that money will be used to help those suffering with mental ill health. The houses will be raising money for a different charity this year, and we are currently deciding which worthy cause to fundraise for throughout the year. This week, I'm interviewing Year 12 Booth Platt students who are keen to be appointed to the important role of house captain, and your new captains will be introducing themselves to you very soon. I would like to thank our outgoing captains, Chloe Oldham and William Clines, currently in Year 13, whose tenure as house captain was unfortunately cut short by the unexpected lockdown in March. They both did a fantastic job in helping and promoting our house, so thank you. The values that I want our house, Booth Platt, to embody, cooperation, thoughtful inclusion and excellence, are even more relevant this year. We can embody the quality of cooperation through us all following the guidelines on the diligence and correct wearing of face coverings in communal areas, and on washing and sanitising our hands regularly. Not just because it's the rules and we have to do it, but we should take pride in doing it, as we are cooperating as a community. Working as a cooperative is incredibly important right now. We are each a tiny part of a much bigger whole, with a responsibility to protect others and their families. We can make sure that we are inclusive and thoughtful of those who feel unsure, worried and disorientated about this strange new normal that we are living in. Let's act with empathy towards others and be sensitive to all of their concerns. And of course, excellence remains vital. I want everyone in Booth Platt to grasp the new way of working this year and continue to excel in all that you do, as you always do. I've always thought that Booth Platt's strength lies not only in academic, sporting and musical excellence, but also in the excellence of our character and our excellence in how we treat others. Keep doing what you always do, and don't forget to submit those house points. Now, whilst I have you as a captive audience, I can share, as an English teacher, my love and passion for poetry. And I couldn't let you go without hearing the obligatory inspirational poem. I'm sure many of you will have heard of the Invictus Games, a tournament that brings together military veterans from around the world to compete together. The Invictus Games use the power of sport to inspire recovery, support rehabilitation, and generate a wider understanding and respect for injured and sick servicemen and women. The Games are a powerful, moving spectacle, and they embody triumph over adversity, strength of the human spirit, of independent fortitude, but also the power of teamwork and comradeship. All qualities that can help to see us through this most strange of years. The Games are named after a poem called Invictus, written by a man called William Ernest Henley, an English poet who had one of his legs amputated at the age of 17 after suffering throughout his childhood from the disease tuberculosis. Now, we can all empathise with how traumatic that childhood would have been, but the poem which he wrote whilst healing from his amputation is a testimony to his refusal to let his disability disrupt his life. His realisation, his revelation, was that he was the master of his own destiny, as we all are, and that rather than becoming lost in despair, he could rise up from his challenges that life had thrown at him, and he could live a full life, and indeed he did. Invictus is a Latin word that translates as unconquered. So listen to the poem. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged in punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So, to all of you in Booth Platt, I wish you the best of luck for this term. Have a great day, everyone.